I climbed up onto it and sat for hours each day to think. I felt this overwhelming feeling that something was going to take place in my life. I was confused about this American Idol thing. So once again, I decided to talk to God about my situation. I wasn't shown the future, but I felt that I needed to decide who I was going to be. Regardless of what was in store, I needed to ask myself, who am I? I may not be able to control what will happen next, but I can control what kind of person I will be and how I handle what was sent my way. I remember the things my parents taught me, that no matter what situations I would find myself in, I could be true to who I was by listening to a still small voice that would help me recognize light. My time on the rock helped me decide who I was going to be, and that I would always keep what I believed from a religious standpoint first. Those days spent talking one-on-one with God in the Uinta Mountains helped me prepare for what was to come. Thought 3, the greater good. During American Idol, one of my goals while on the show was to choose songs that I felt had purpose. This became a challenge one week when I chose to sing John Lennon's Imagine. During my dress rehearsal, the producers walked up onto the stage, stopped me, and told me I needed to sing the first verse that everyone knew. I had chosen to sing the third verse because I felt I couldn't leave people with the message, imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try. With Debbie, the stage manager, being the only one to support my decision, I was able to sing the third verse. I'm thankful I didn't ignore the feeling I had, because I believe the overwhelming response and success of the song was directly related to staying true to who I was. As an artist, it is more than just the notes and sound. It is the energy that you put into what you do. If something is not true, then you can't put that energy of truth within you into your art. It doesn't matter how nice or technically correct it is, the energy is what makes the difference. I realize that if we make an effort to stand up for these truths within, greater good will always prevail. Thought 4, what matters most? Immediately after American Idol, I was signed to a record deal, released a single called Crush, had an album come out, did multiple concerts and tours, and I started getting a little sidetracked. People were suddenly telling me, money and fame and having all these people know you are what make you happy. Girls screaming, I love you! Or marry me! Or mothers screaming, marry my daughter! For a while, I thought maybe they're right. These record label and music industry people are older than me, have been at it longer, and were telling me I needed this to be successful and happy. It didn't occur to me that just because people are nice doesn't mean what they say is true. As a performer, when I would speak up and say I didn't feel comfortable with certain songs or scenes in videos, they would tell me, but this is what's popular. You want your music to be heard, don't you? If you want to make a difference in the world, people have to hear your music. And this is what's in. Where I was known for songs like Imagine and When You Believe, they were now telling me, and I quote, we see you more as a white Chris Brown. When I would again say, I don't want to sing songs that are dark and portray hurtful relationships, they then told me, oh, well, you might as well be a Christian singer. Now, I do love Christian music, but I wanted to show that no matter where you are, you can have the freedom to stand up for truth. You can be considered a pop artist and not have to follow everyone else. Other examples of people who were able to stand up and be true to who they were people I admired like Owl City, Dolly Parton, Phil Collins, Five for Fighting, Lindsey Sterling, and many more. It got to a point, though, where I let these voices get to me, and I became afraid to speak up about what was important to me. I didn't tell people I believed in Jesus Christ or that I was a Mormon for fear of ridicule or being uncool or being seen as an overbearing religious freak. It was a world where I was now believing you needed to be politically correct, not offend anyone, not say anything that anyone would disagree with, and where you do what the bigwigs tell you. I wasn't sure what I could be open about anymore, even though I still considered my religious beliefs to be what was most important in my life. Which leads to thought 5, facing fears. As in times before, I began to feel an overwhelming energy pulling at my soul, telling me once again to do something that was not easy. Leave my comfort zone and put a hold on my career and life to serve a mission. I knew it was what I needed to do. I just didn't know how. When I first turned 19, I had announced to my management and record label that I was going to serve a mission. They came back telling me that I couldn't because of contractual obligations. At first I thought that again, this must be a sign that my instincts were wrong. But later on, with help from my mom and friends, I realized that only I could decide what matters most to me. After over a year of obstacles and preparation, I turned in my mission application, and in November of 2011, I received my call to the Chile Rancagua mission. I was excited to pay it forward. Because of my fear, however, I thought about leaving without letting anyone know. Or releasing a video message. That way I wouldn't have to face disappointment or misunderstanding from others. While doing a Christmas tour, my road manager, Carrie, who is also here today, told me, "I think you owe it to your fans to tell them face to face. And not just face to face, but at one of your shows." I knew she was right. I needed to face my fear, knowing what could follow. I announced that I would be leaving in front of my hometown of Salt Lake. Be still, my soul, the Lord is on thy side. With patience bear thy cross of grief for pain. Weep to thy God. Be still, my soul, thy God doth undertake to guide the future as he has the past. Thy hope, thy confidence, let nothing shake. Oh, now mysterious shall be bright at last. Be still, my soul, the waves and winds still know his voice who wooed them while he dwelt below. Be still, my soul. Be still, my soul. Be still, my Be still, my soul, the hour is hastening on, when we shall be forever with the Lord. When disappointment, grief, and fear are gone, sorrow forgot, love's purest joys restore. Be still, my soul, when change and tears are past. All safe and blessed, we shall meet at last. Thank you. I want to thank musicians, very talented musicians accompanying me tonight. Miss Kendra Lowe, who was on the piano, and also Mr. Bart Wilson, who's on the percussion, and he'll come back later. Thought 6. My mission and the power of religious freedom. I loved my mission, and while I could go on and on about it, I will share a brief story. One of the people I grew to know and love was a single mother named Blanca. Every time I think of her, I just get, teary-eyed. It's what the mission does to you. Blanca was originally from Cuba. She grew up Catholic, but during her time in Cuba, they were not allowed to practice religion, or else they would be arrested. They had closed down all places of worship, so she and a small group of Christians would have to meet in secret in a small home so that they could worship the God they loved and relied upon. She found her way to Chile, where my companion and I met her. Together with her 2 children, we shared God's plan And I will never forget when she said, quote, "I can't explain what I'm feeling right now. I just know that it's true." Blanca taught me the importance of religious freedom. What does it really mean to have your freedom taken away from you? I've never had to worry about being arrested for praying. But here was Blanca, who left the home she knew in Cuba for freedom to worship the God she loved, and so that she could live her life in a way that she could dedicate it to Him. Something that I somewhat had taken for granted. How blessed we are that we can live in a country established on liberty and justice for all, where the First Amendment to the United States Constitution states, quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." These men who we've read about in our history books, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, were men who had beliefs founded in God. They sought for freedom and rights not just for themselves, but for their country. They helped establish a country rooted in ancient principles to worship God freely and in a more powerful way than previously permitted, having been weighed down by British rule before. Even though their lives and reputation were at stake in the decision to stand up for what they believed, they declared these precious rights in a Declaration of Independence and later in the Constitution. Their decision to stand up for their beliefs was not easy, and a lot was on the line. In the book, The Miracle of America, Birth of a Nation, by William S. Norton and Brian P. Trotter, I quote, It is of particular note that if the war for independence had been lost, these good men and their families would have been tried for treason, the penalty for which was not just death, but far, far worse. After a horrifying and excruciatingly long process, when spirit and flesh had been unmercifully parted, their quartered remains would have been scattered across the countryside, so that their final resting place would be unknown, unnamed, and unhonored. And yet, in spite of this threat, these stalwart men pursued their righteous path, pressing forward with faith in their Creator. We may ask ourselves, if the task rested upon our shoulders, would you have signed it? Close quote. The freedom fighters did not fully understand what their courage would lead to, and if their lives would be cut short for their simple decisions to stand up for their beliefs. But do you think they would have imagined that over 300 million people would now be living in this country, founded on principles of a nation under God and liberty almost 300 years later? Look at us here today. We are the results of simple but bold decisions to rise up with courage for truth and light. We won't see the effects now, but know that our own simple decisions will make an everlasting impact on our future generations. You and I are building the foundation of our children's and our children's children's lives. If any of you are wondering how to begin using this freedom of living openly and outwardly your beliefs, may I quote a well-known phrase, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." This leads to thought 7, of serving others. There is no decision that has impacted me and changed me more than the decision to serve. On my mission, I was able to live 2 years of service that was dedicated to others and dedicated to God. And coming from the entertainment industry, I may have gotten a little caught up in the how much more can I do to get people to see me way of thinking. I learned on my mission that the exact opposite is where love is born. Because it is not all about you. It is not all about me. There are people who have nothing according to the world's terms of money or fame, and yet they hold the key to the secret of life. What brings joy and happiness? I needed to go to people who no one knew about to find it. I needed to work on a one-on-one relationship with God that maybe others wouldn't understand, because it wasn't in a selfie or Snapchat for everyone to look at. And I will tell you that it sure feels good to have the freedom to have followed that and not be chained to feelings of having to follow the crowd or of seeking out the crowd's attention. You don't have to get sucked into social media's beliefs of what you need to be successful and happy. Now this leads to thought 8. Understanding others and understanding yourself. I had a recent experience that helped me gain better insight in what religious freedom meant for me personally, and also how we learn from mistakes and understanding one another's perspectives. Just this weekend before last, I was watching the LDS Worldwide General Conference. I felt impressed to share some of the quotes that impacted me, especially with it being Easter weekend. One of the quotes I decided to share on my Twitter feed was from the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Boyd K. Packer, where he stated, quote, "But romantic love is incomplete. It is a prelude. Love is nourished by the coming of children who spring from that fountain of life entrusted to couples in marriage. Conception takes place in a wedded embrace between husband and wife." Now, I did not type it all down fast enough in my notes. While the first part struck me saying romantic love is incomplete, it is a prelude, I didn't take time to really consider how it ended. I mixed what I thought I heard into the quote, saying expressed between a man and a woman in marriage, instead of entrusted to couples in marriage, as Boyd K. Packer said. Twitter only allows 150 characters, so the quote didn't fit in one tweet. I added the part that didn't fit into another tweet, which only showed the remaining words expressed between a man and a woman in marriage. I didn't realize that over the weekend, I would receive thousands of angry comments misinterpreting the line into an anti-gay, homophobic political statement that would get sucked into the current Indiana debate. Though I do firmly believe in God's order of the family, never had I intended to imply homophobic, belittling political statements. However, the damage had been done. I was now living what had always been my fear before my mission, of being misunderstood and taken the wrong way. When my manager informed me of what had happened, I quickly released an apology for anyone who had misunderstood my romantic love being a prelude tweet. Now, although I did not quote verbatim what President Boyd K. Packer said, I would like to share why I felt so impressed to share his message. I hope people can look at the fact that love is more than just a one-night stand. I pray that people take seriously how powerful sexual intimacy is, because I know it is God-given power to enhance everlasting relationships in marriage, and even has power to bring new lives into this world, which is attached with new responsibility. Sex is not designed for selfish pleasure-seeking. It is a pact between husband and wife that enhances their bond, and that bond can enhance even more with the coming of children. There's nothing more valuable to me than my family, and I hope that we treat the gift of families and the powers that form families with the importance and sacredness that they deserve. I realized how an innocent mistake could be read wrong, jump to quick conclusions, bring offense and fear, and end with bitter remarks, leaving both sides hurt. I believe we all have taken offense at one time or another to things we did not fully understand. It takes patience, love, and humility to be willing to understand where someone else is coming from. This experience has helped me. My reaction before may have been to cover up my mistakes and hide in fear, but now I am beginning to learn that in order to understand others, I need to love them enough to help them know why what I shared mattered so much to me, and then listen to what matters most to them. It is about giving your best to show who you really are and to become the better you. To have the freedom of beliefs that help you find hope, that there is room to become your best. To express in your art, your passion, your talents, and your faith, your hope for a better world, and the hope to make a positive impact on the lives of those around you. You have this freedom. You don't have to keep secret what matters most to you and be like a young-aged Blanca and hide. You have strength to stand up and make a difference. And as you stand up, you become a leader of light instead of a follower of fear. In conclusion, I hope each of us, wherever our religious beliefs are based, can make the arrangements in our lives so that we may continue to dedicate time to serve others. I learned that there is power in a smile, a simple hello, a prayer for another, and trust in each other. When we take the time to serve each and every person that is within our reach, we come to realize how we truly are one. That we are connected no matter how different our upbringings or circumstances are. Through service, we remove the chains of greed, pride, anger, and judgment to uncover the links that connect us together. Love, it is there. It is part of our makeup as humans, because whether we choose to express love or not, it is constantly flowing from a higher source. We are all loved by the same Creator, and service is what unveils His love for each of us. I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, to find this love for yourself. And as you discover it, may you help others feel it through you. And this is my humble prayer. We'd like to leave you with a song that is really special to me. And may God bless all of you. Thank you.
Figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece in their own melodies, and each one of us, oh, it's glorious. And you will know how to let it ring out as you discover you are. others around you will start to wake up to the sounds that are in their hearts. It's so amazing what we're all creating. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece in their own melodies, in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious. And as you feel the notes build, you will see. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece in their own melodies, and each one